Hello, this screencast will show how to install FDS and Smokeview version 6 on Linux. I'll be using Ubuntu Linux 12.10 to install this, but these instructions should work for any distribution of Linux. So the first thing I'm going to do is download FDS and Smokeview version 6 from the primary FDS website. So if you get to the website, if you click the green download button, we'll be able to download FDS version 6. Now, since FDS version 6 is currently a beta release, I'm going to click the complete list of downloads. When FDS 6 is released officially, you should be able to use the buttons above to download it. So if I get to the download list, you'll notice that on this page, the top downloads here are for FDS version 6 release candidate 1. The Linux versions are the top two here. There's 32-bit and 64-bit. I'm going to choose the 64-bit Linux version because the machine I'm on is 64-bit. So if I click this link, I'll get to the download page, and from this page I can click to download the file. And I'm going to save the file here. And so it's downloading. And while that's downloading, I just want to point out on the previous page that you'll notice that the Linux and Mac FDS downloads are .sh files. This is a shell script, and so I'll lead you through the installation instructions for Linux here. The Windows downloads are .exe versions. Now, the Linux and Mac versions are .sh scripts, so the installation instructions are similar, and this is so that when FDS and Smokeview are installed, the commands to run them are more consistent across all platforms. I'll also note out that on our wiki page, if you click the wiki tab and installation notes, if you click FDS and Smokeview installation notes, you should see a link here for Linux installation notes. So I'll be following these instructions to install FDS and Smokeview version 6 on Linux. There are also additional notes on the bottom here to install MPI so that you can run multi-processing versions of FDS. So I'll follow along here, and the first step on Linux to install FDS and Smokeview is to open the terminal application. So to do that on Ubuntu, I'm going to click the -home button, and I have terminal here. If you don't see that there, you can type the word terminal, and you should see the terminal application show up. On various Linux systems, there are different ways to get to the terminal screen, but they should all involve the word terminal to get to this application. So now that I'm in my home directory, if I check the downloads directory, I'll see FDS version 6 that I just downloaded. So I want to use let me pause here, go back to the installation notes. Step 2 is using the cd command, which stands for change directory. And I can cd into the downloads directory, which is where I just downloaded FDS. So I've typed cd space downloads, and if I type ls to list the files, I'll see FDS 6 there. This is the installation script I just downloaded. So if I go back to the web page, I'm now on step 3, and I have to run one command to change the permissions of the bundle such that it's executable. So this command stands for change mode, +X stands for executable, and there's the name of the FDS installation script. So if I go back to the terminal window and type chmod space +X space FDS, and here I can use tab completion. So if I hit the tab key, it will complete the rest of the file name for me, and there's the command I need to make the file executable. So if I press the enter key now, I have just changed that file to be executable. So now I'm ready to proceed with the installation. This is step 4. In step 4, I'm going to type // and the name of the file. This is going to run the installation script, and from there we can follow the on-screen directions. So I can type ./FDS, and again I can press tab to complete the file name. If I press enter, I have now begun installation of FDS and Smokeview version 6. So there's a couple of options here. I can press the enter key to begin installation, or I can extract the contents of the archive to the current directory. So I'd like to begin the installation, so I'm going to press the enter key. Now I have a few options on where I would like to install FDS. So the default location is in my home directory, and that's the first option here, home, my username, FDS, FDS6. There are a couple of other options you can install to, which may require superuser or root permissions to install. You can also enter a directory path to install FDS to a custom location. So for this tutorial, I'm going to press 1 to install FDS and Smokeview into my home directory, and I'll press the enter key. And now a confirmation says that I'm installing FDS and Smokeview to my home directory, FDS, FDS6. So I'm ready to begin the installation, so I type the word yes and press the enter key. Now installation has begun, and various startup files were created or modified as needed. So now FDS has been installed on this machine. So I'm going to close out this terminal window. There's a few other notes here about the startup files that were modified for informational use only. So now I would like to check that FDS and Smokeview installed properly. So if I click on that home button there, there's the terminal command that I ran earlier. If I can click on that, I have a new terminal window open. Now I can check the installation by typing FDS and the enter key. And I see here FDS was installed. Here's the version number, the SVN revision number. I can press enter to escape. I can also type the word Smokeview and press enter, and I can see this current version of Smokeview that was installed. So now that the shortcuts are working, I can type the ls command, press enter. There's a new folder called FDS, so I'm going to cd into FDS and type ls to see the contents. I see an FDS6 folder and a shortcuts folder. I'm going to cd into the FDS6 folder and type ls again. So here I have a bin folder, a documentation folder, and an examples folder. I can also see these files by clicking on the home folder icon, and I have an FDS folder here, FDS6. Here are the bin, documentations, and examples folder. So in the bin directory, just to show here, we have many executable files including FDS and Smokeview. We have other utilities and libraries in here that actually run FDS and Smokeview. If I go back to the documentation folder, I'll see the user guide and technical guide for FDS and for Smokeview, and a couple of links to the FDS website. And finally, there's the examples folder, and we're going to run one of the examples right now in the terminal. But here you can see examples for controls, detectors, fires, heat transfer, species, and so on. And these are the verification cases for FDS. So now that we've seen the high-level overview of what files were installed, I can go back to the terminal window, and in here I'm going to cd into the examples folder. If I type ls, I'll see all of those example folders that I pointed out earlier. So I'm going to cd into the controls folder, press enter. If I type ls, I have a few FDS example files I can run. So I'm going to type FDS space activate vents.fds, and this is going to tell FDS to run this input file called activate vents. So when I press enter, FDS is going to start running, and when it's finished, it'll print a completion message. FDS completed successfully. And if I type ls now, I'll see a number of output files have been created for activate vents. Now I'm ready to view the results in Smokeview. I can type the word Smokeview space activate vents, press the enter key, and this case will open up in Smokeview, and there are the results. I can right click on the screen and click load particle file particles, and there are the results. So there's the case running in Smokeview, activate vents case, and when I'm done looking at the results I can close Smokeview. So I've installed FDS and Smokeview version 6 on Linux. Again, depending on your distribution of Linux, the ways to get to the terminal might be slightly different, but all of the commands will be the same. Again, these instructions are available on the wiki page for installation notes under Linux installation notes, and if you follow these steps on any Linux system, you should be able to install FDS and Smokeview. And if you have any questions, please post them to the discussion group, and thanks for watching.